Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the last sessions. I know certainly the couple that I popped my head into really well attended and really hard to actually go to the next one because really, really good discussions. So it's just been fantastic. My job right now is actually to introduce the person who is going to provide some closing remarks, and I'm thrilled to be able to do this. Adam Legge is a force in business advocacy in Alberta. He's president of the highly influential Business Council of Alberta, and previously president and CEO of the Calgary Chamber, director at the Haskayne School of Business, and chief economist at Calgary Economic Development. Author of, I do this, air quotes are terrible, but you know, the title of the book, Making Remarkable. It's a book on how to deliver purpose, inspire people, and build a platform for exceptional results. No further ado, please join me in welcoming Adam Legge.
Thank you, Martha, for that kind introduction, and there's a bit of embellishment there, but thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, a pleasure to close here with you this afternoon. I want to thank Premier for her commitment to this, Minister Horner for your vision around this summit. Thank you, Minister, and for being here through the whole time. But particularly thanks also to the School of Public Policy, Martha, Trevor. You have just done a Herculean effort. And I just want to have all of us join in a round of applause to Martha and Trevor and the School of Public Policy for an amazing 36 hours. Thanks to all of you who traveled to Calgary to have an important conversation around productivity. I'm proud that Alberta is host to this conversation, proud that Alberta is Canada's most productive province, and that we have been leaders in tackling many of the productivity issues like reducing trade barriers with our fellow provinces, cutting red tape, creating ministries around that. We've learned a lot in the past 36 hours. I know I'm between you, lunch, a flight, whatever it might be, so I'll try and be brief. I've got three things to close with. The first is we got and keep ourselves in this mess. Two, we know the solutions. And third, we must act together on those solutions. So first, we got and keep ourselves in this mess. To a large degree, this is a problem of our own making. And we may not like hearing that, but it is a collective responsibility. And by we, I do mean largely governments and structures and policies, but it is also a pinch of business reluctance. We've been talking about it for 20 years, and here we are. There have been reports, studies, analyses, conversations around this, and yet we are still in our own way. And some examples that still we're continuing to make bad choices in this domain. Many of the ones have been raised throughout the conversation the past few days here. We struggle to get agreement from provincial governments to reduce trade and labor barriers. Ottawa is actively curtailing our most productive sector, the energy sector. Ottawa's cancelled projects that would get our products to global markets, and our trade infrastructure is experiencing immense instability of late. Capital gains taxes are increasing on entrepreneurs and innovators. We still do not have an operational federal loan guarantee program for Indigenous communities. And most recently, and unbelievably, the Competition Bureau, in response to the ambiguity created around the C-59 greenwashing provisions, put out guidance in late July advising companies to, quote, avoid aspirational claims about the future. I don't know how we solve productivity when we can't talk aspirationally about the future. So is it any surprise that we are having conversations around productivity challenges? Point number two, we know the solutions. I can remember back in the late 90s, my chief economist icon was Don Drummond at TD Economics, and I can remember him writing papers on the productivity challenges, lamenting on them, but providing the solutions, and frankly, the solutions are very similar to the ones we've talked about in the past 36 hours. What's changed now? Why is it an emergency? Well, I think finally Canadians are feeling poorer. Now it is and should be a national emergency, and we're creating anxiety amongst our young people. Yesterday we heard that just 5% of Canadians feel that the next generation will be better off than we are today. That is frightening. We're creating anxiety and fear about the future amongst our youngest Canadians. We've ignored productivity for years because of cheap money. Now Canadians do feel like they can't afford anything. But the solution set that we've talked about across numerous sessions is generally clear. We need to unleash our resource sector. We need to create equity opportunities for Indigenous nations and communities. We need to cut red tape, make permitting and approvals faster and easier, improve immigration, and get immigrants working faster in the areas that they're skilled in. Fix the tax code, enable companies to spend on capital, equipment, and machinery and innovation, increase innovation risk tolerance of the corporate sector, create better innovation capacity and commercialization, improve trading with other countries, reduce trade and labor barriers between provinces, remove competitive protections, etc., etc. I think generally we have the solutions we need. But leads to my third point, that we need to work together to act on those solutions. Why have we not acted? For business, it's been about uncompetitive conditions. And for government, it's because previously there hasn't been a lot of political gain to be seen to be focusing on productivity. But now that Canadians feel poorer, there is, in fact, a political imperative to do so. But Canadians don't see that connective tissue between productivity and them getting richer. Here's some more scary statistics that we heard yesterday. Only 1/3 of Canadians see more economic growth as a good thing. Similarly, 1/3 of Canadians think higher economic growth means higher wages. Only 1/3 of Canadians feel that higher economic growth means higher wages for low and middle income Canadians, and 65% think it will only go towards increased income for the rich. We cannot let this conversation continue, otherwise we'll be meeting here in a couple of years on the same topic. There must be an imperative of government about the future of the nation. This is not just a business issue, this is a national quality of life and prosperity issue. We must work together to shift Canadian views to help understand the importance of productivity, because I assure you that is not a word that is being talked about at the Tims in Sault Ste. Marie, Brandon, Nanton, or Trois-Rivières. We must work together to give government the courage and the cover to act. To the government leaders that are here, tell us what you need as cover to make the changes, and we will help you. What breadcrumb trail can we lead and create from productivity and economic growth to Canadians feeling better and richer? It will require active listening from government to the solution set, but more importantly, it will require new language, new communications vehicles, new advocates, new influencers, and spokespeople. As we close, I do hope that we come away with a commitment to agree to collaborate. I hope we will leave here with the will to act collectively, both government, business, civil society, all together, to improve the quality of life and the prosperity of Canadians by improving productivity and talking about it and doing policy in whatever language resonates with Canadians so that they support those choices and those investments. I'll be honest, I don't want to see you all here in a couple of years talking about the same things. What I do want to do is see all of you here in 2 years or however long it takes talking about and toasting improved productivity, more competitive businesses, richer and better off Canadians, and a brighter future ahead. And with that, I will turn it over to Martha, who I hope will lead that future toast. Thank you, Martha, Trevor, the entire school, for all of your incredible work. Thank you, Minister, for your support of this initiative and this conference. It's been an amazing 36 hours. Thank you to all of you, our speakers, attendees. And with that, Martha, over to you.
So you just mentioned Tim Hortons. I heard in the ag session that we had just a little while ago, a line that I wrote down because it's frustrating, but I thought it was pretty good. Tim Hortons has become actually not just a national success, but now a global brand, because Canadians really like going out for coffee and taking bets on who's going to fail next. It's actually not funny, but It is, I think it really struck for me because unfortunately we also have, you know, Canadians love to go for bronze. We do have an attitudinal challenge and in this country, and I do firmly believe that that's going to be a big part of how we move beyond this challenge and how we can actually get Canadians to rally. You heard John Manley mention yesterday the Wall Street Journal article when Canada was really suffering from high debt and high deficits, repeated deficits. And it was a pretty damning article. And I said that I was pretty sure we actually had a journalist from the Wall Street Journal following the proceedings. So all I can say is now is probably the time for another blistering article from the Wall Street Journal on Canada's productivity challenges. No pressure, but that might unfortunately be helpful. I too want to, thank Adam for your closing remarks. Thank the team, certainly from the School of Public Policy. I do want to do a special shout out to Dr. Trevor Toome. This would not have happened without everything you've done to make this happen. So thank you. It's just been fantastic. Again, grateful to the government of Alberta, Minister Horner, in particular, holding the purse strings for the government. We would not have been able to do this without not just the financial support, but the actual the collaboration, the working together has been really, really fantastic. I want to finish off with a positive. You've heard me mention a couple of times that this is the launch for us at the School of Public Policy of a year-long productivity initiative. Year-long cross-country. I know from some of the conversations we've already been having, a lot of you are really keen to be involved. I think some companies might be keen to help financially. That's a good thing. But we already have meetings set up on early November in Ottawa, a great start to how we're going to continue to do this. And I just want to leave you with the thought Deb Yedlin left with the slogan from the University of Calgary, start something. The last day and a half have been really fantastic. We have started something. And I want to end with a call to just say I really hope that all of you want to continue to participate with us as we turn this something into something that really, really helps this country. So thank you very much. Thank you all of you for being here, all of the panelists, the speakers. This has just been extraordinary. So that's not just a thank you because it's written down, it's a thank you from my heart. The role at the School of Public Policy, I would have never known that in such a short time something so terrific would have been able to happen. Just stay tuned because we're going to keep going. Thank you very, very much.